Zirin, a Zorgani child, screamed for help through the cold void of space, his small, bloody fingers clawing at the inactive comms panel, hoping that someone would hear him. Behind him, the frozen bodies of his family floated, victims of the cruel Kodak's raiders who had struck their ship just hours before, leaving him stranded and facing a slow, painful death. Despite Zirin's cries echoing through the galaxy, no one came to his rescue. The incredibly smart and cultured elven people whispered among themselves about the danger of the Croaks, deeming it best to avoid provoking them. The usually objective and logical Quarians decided that the life of a single alien child was not worth the risk of a potential conflict. Then, a rough voice cut through the silence on the communications panel. "This is Captain Marcus Riker of the Earth ship Dauntless. Kid, we hear you. Hold on tight." The line ended abruptly, leaving Zirin with a glimmer of hope. The Foreign Council admonished the Dauntless, warning them that attempting a rescue was suicide. But Marcus remained resolute. "Kids don't get left to die alone in space. Not by me. Not now. Not ever," he declared. With unwavering determination, Marcus rallied his crew, Liera, Jax, and Rorik. They knew the risks, but they refused to leave a child to suffer. Together, they ran toward the edge of the ring, ready to face whatever horrors awaited them. As they approached the edge, the Dauntless came under heavy fire, its shields trembling under the assault. Alarms blared throughout the ship as Marcus demanded a damage report. Rorik's voice cracked but steady, reporting the damage. Despite the odds stacked against them, Marcus and his crew pressed on. Jax executed evasive maneuvers, narrowly avoiding enemy fire. Liera analyzed the enemy ship, identifying a vulnerability in its rear shields. "We'll exploit their blind spot," Marcus commanded. "Jax, divert power away from the front shields and engines." With Jack's expert piloting, the Dauntless executed a tight turn, bringing them into position behind the enemy ship. They unleashed a barrage of firepower, targeting the vulnerable rear shields. The enemy ship, caught off guard, struggled to defend itself against the unexpected assault. The tables had turned, and Marcus seized the opportunity to press the attack, determined to rescue Zirin against all odds. Against the backdrop of the Kodak ship, the massive enemy vessel loomed large on the Dauntless view screen. Its intimidating engines glowed ominously. Marcus's voice boomed, "Fire everything we have." The Dauntless unleashed a barrage of missiles and energy beams at the exposed rear of the Croak ship, causing explosions to rock its hull. Liera reported that they had hit the engines and the weapons were offline. Marcus couldn't help but smile. "Everyone did a good job. Let's get that kid now." As they approached the damaged alien ship, Marcus stood, accompanied by Liera and Rorik, while Jax ensured the Dauntless kept moving, prepared for a swift departure if needed. The team rushed to the airlock, weapons drawn, and boarded the alien ship. Navigating through wreckage and floating bodies, they called out to Zix, who was hiding. Marcus reassured him, coaxing him out of hiding. Just as they found Zix, Jax's urgent voice crackled over the radio. The Kodak ship was preparing to retaliate. Marcus grabbed Zix and dashed back to the Dauntless, with Liera and Rorik close behind. Bullets from the Croak ship narrowly missed their vessel as they sped away at top speed. As they distanced themselves from the enemy, the Dauntless sustained damage, with emergency lights flickering and controls malfunctioning. When Marcus called for a damage report, his voice was hoarse from shouting orders during the battle. Covered in sweat and dirt, he surveyed the damage. "Captain, it's bad. Engines are failing, life support's damaged, and we're out of ammo," reported Rorik. Despite the dire situation, Marcus remained resolute. They had saved Zix, but their ship was barely holding together. He knelt beside Zix, offering reassurance. Tears welled up in Zix's eyes as he expressed gratitude for their bravery. Marcus turned to his crew, determined to inform the council of their actions. Despite the flickering hologram and spotty communications, Marcus faced the council representatives with determination. Despite their warnings, Marcus defended their decision to rescue Zix, refusing to let a child die alone in space. The council remained skeptical, warning of potential repercussions from the Croak. Marcus stood his ground, demanding backup from the council to ensure their safety. That could provide cover and disrupt their sensors. Marcus nodded. "Good. Take us there, Jax. Liera, prepare to engage stealth systems. As the Dauntless veered towards the nebula, the crew sprang into action, implementing their plan with precision. Liera initiated the stealth systems, cloaking their ship within the dense particles of the nebula, rendering them invisible to the Croax sensors. "We've lost them," Liera reported, her voice tinged with relief. Marcus glanced at Zix, offering a reassuring smile. "Looks like we bought ourselves some time." But their respite was short-lived. Before they could fully exhale, a sudden jolt rocked the ship, alarms blaring as they were violently pulled out of the nebula's concealment. "They found us," Jax exclaimed, his fingers flying over the controls as he attempted to stabilize the ship. Marcus gritted his teeth, his mind racing for a solution. "Evasive maneuvers, Jax. Liera, target their engines." The Dauntless danced through space, narrowly avoiding the enemy's barrage of fire, while Liera retaliated with precision strikes aimed at crippling the Croax vessel. But their efforts were not without cost. The Dauntless sustained damage, its systems strained to the brink as they engaged in a deadly dance with their adversaries. As the battle raged on, Zix watched in awe and trepidation, witnessing firsthand the bravery and determination of the human crew. "Why do you fight so fiercely?" Zix asked, his voice filled with wonder and admiration. Marcus met his gaze, his expression unwavering. "Because we believe in doing what's right, no matter the odds. We fight for those who can't fight for themselves." Zix nodded, his respect for the humans deepening with each passing moment. Despite the odds stacked against them, the Dauntless and its courageous crew refused to back down. With unwavering resolve and unmatched skill, they held their ground against the Croax onslaught, a beacon of hope in the vast expanse of the galaxy. They were met with a sight that filled their hearts with relief and triumph. The Croax ship, engulfed in flames, drifted aimlessly, its once formidable presence reduced to smoldering wreckage. "We did it," Marcus breathed, his voice tinged with disbelief and pride. The crew erupted into cheers and applause, their exhilaration palpable as they realized they had emerged victorious against insurmountable odds. But amidst the celebration, Marcus's gaze fell on Zix, who stood quietly, his eyes wide with awe and gratitude. "Thank you, Captain," Zix said softly, his voice filled with emotion. "You saved my life." Marcus smiled, his heart swelling with pride. "We're just glad we could help, Zix. That's what it means to be a part of this crew, to look out for each other, no matter what." As the Dauntless sailed through the remnants of the nebula, leaving behind the wreckage of their vanquished foe, they knew that their journey was far from over. But with each passing moment, they grew stronger, their bond forged in the crucible of battle, ready to face whatever challenges the vast expanse of the galaxy had in store. Together, they were unstoppable. And as long as they stood united, there was nothing they couldn't overcome. The Croak ship was nowhere to be seen, reduced to shattered debris by the cataclysmic blast. A cheer went up on the bridge, the humans embracing each other in relief and triumph. Zix stared at the view screen, his eyes wide with wonder. "You did it," he whispered. "You actually did it, Marcus." Marcus grinned, the weight of the past hours finally lifting from his shoulders. "We did it, Zix. Together." As the Valiant emerged from the nebula, battered but unbroken, Marcus knew that their fight was far from over. The Codex would not forget this defeat, and the galaxy was still a dangerous place. But for now, they had won. They had shown that courage, ingenuity, and unity could overcome even the greatest of odds. And as long as they had each other, Marcus knew there was nothing they couldn't face. He looked around at his crew, at Zix, and felt a swell of pride. They were more than just a crew, more than just friends. They were family, and family always stuck together, no matter what the universe threw at them. The Valiant shook violently as it plunged deeper into the heart of the raging nebula. The view screen was a kaleidoscope of swirling colors, the gases painting an almost mesmerizing picture, if not for the deadly Croak ship hot on their tail. "They're gaining on us," Liera shouted over the blaring alarms, her fingers dancing across the weapons console. Marcus gripped the armrest of his chair, his knuckles white. "Jax, I need you to keep us one step ahead. Use the nebula to your advantage. Hi, Captain, Jax called back, his brow furrowed in concentration as he wove the ship through the treacherous gases. The Croak ship loomed ever closer, its weapons pounding against the Valiant as weakening shields strained to hold. On the bridge, sparks flew from overloaded consoles, and the acrid smell of burnt circuitry filled the air. Shields at 20%, Rorik reported, his voice strained. I'm rerouting every scrap of power I can, but it won't hold for long. Marcus turned to Zix, who was hunched over a console, his small hands a blur of motion. Zix, tell me you have something. The young Zorlon looked up, his eyes wide but determined. I think I can disrupt their targeting systems, but I need to get closer. Marcus nodded grimly. Do it. Jax, bring us in range. Liera, give them everything we've got. The Valiant surged forward, Jax steering them in a daring arc towards the Croak ship. Liera unleashed a barrage of missiles, the projectiles streaking through the nebula like angry hornets. The Croak ship shuddered under the assault, its shields flickering. Zix, seeing his chance, input a series of rapid commands. Got it. Their targeting is scrambled. Good work, Zix, Marcus said. And Rorik, now in engineering, Rorik grinned as he activated the traps he'd laid. A series of jury-rigged MP mines floating in the nebula. As the Croak ship blundered into them, the mines detonated, bathing the enemy vessel in cascades of disruptive energy. The Croak ship listed, its systems haywire. Marcus saw his chance. Jax, bring us in close. I'm going aboard, Captain, he said, ignoring Lara's protests. It's the only way to end this. Keep them busy. I'll deal with Zogra. He raced to the airlock, a pulse rifle in his hands and determination in his heart. As he boarded the Croak ship, alarms blared, and emergency lights painted the corridors an ominous red. Croak warriors, their reptilian faces contorted with rage, charged at him. Marcus met them head-on, his rifle spitting plasma as he fought his way through the ship. Every step of the battle, every corner of potential ambush, but he wouldn't be deterred. Not with so much at stake. He burst onto the bridge, and there stood Zogra, the Croak commander, his eyes glinting with malice. You dare to challenge me, human? Zogra hissed. Marcus stared him down. I dare to stand up for what's right. They clashed in a furious melee, Zogra's strength pitted against Marcus's speed and cunning. Blows were exchanged, blood was spilled, but Marcus would not yield. For Zix, for his crew, for all the innocent lives the Croak had destroyed, he fought on. In a final desperate move, Marcus feinted left, then lunged right, catching Zogra off guard. His rifle but connected with the Croak's skull with a sickening crunch. Zogra crumpled, his eyes rolling back in his head. Marcus stood over him, panting, victorious. It's over, he said into his comms. Zogra is down. The Croak are finished. Cheers erupted over the link, his crew's relief and triumph palpable. Get back here, Captain, Liera said, her voice thick with emotion. Let's go home. Marcus made his way back to the Valiant, leaving the crippled Croak ship behind. As they emerged from the nebula, battered but unbroken, Marcus allowed himself a moment to breathe. They had done it. Against all odds, they had won. But what he saw next made his jaw drop. Arrayed before them was a vast fleet of ships, Zorlon, Larian, Varen, and a dozen other races. And they were all here for them. Captain Marcus Recur, a familiar voice crackled over the comms. It was the Alanian counselor, but gone was the condescension from before. The galaxy owes you and your crew a great debt. Your actions have shown us the importance of unity and compassion. Marcus felt a lump in his throat. He looked around at his crew, at Zix, and saw the same emotion reflected in their eyes. We did it together, he said, as a team, as friends. As Zix was reunited with his people, tears of joy streaming down his face, Marcus knew that this was just the beginning. The galaxy had changed, and humanity had played a part in shaping its future. They had shown that courage, determination, and the unbreakable human spirit could overcome any obstacle. And that legacy, Marcus knew, would endure long after they were gone.